Hey everybody, welcome back to Life at Lakeside Unedited. I think this is episode 3. I'm pretty sure it's episode 3. Well, we'll see. I might have to change that later. But I'm pretty sure it's episode 3. And that means that we are looking at some perennials today. So I want to show you what we've got as far as our perennials. Largely I'm going to be showing you what we have in the 1 gallon containers. But because this is Delmarva, and we do love it here, but it's got its own quirks, doesn't it? So because this is Delmarva, there are a few things that are sold as annuals but do often come back. So if you're curious about those, you can always ask us when you come in. They'll likely be covered in other episodes. I might even get to it today. We're going to have to see. I'm not promising that, but I am going to try and show you our 1 gallon perennials. So let's see here. I'm also going to give you an update on my heirloom babies, my projects, my experiments, just so you can see how those are coming along and what we have left, because a couple of things have already sold out, which is kind of crazy. It's only April 18th, so I probably should have invested in more seeds, and now we know. That's why I only do the single sows for those, because you never really know what people are going to get excited about when it comes to the heirlooms. I did not expect the Spoon Micro Mini tomatoes to go as fast as they did, but they really did. Alright, let's take a look here. I'm going to turn you around if I can find the button. Turning. There it goes. Alright. Yes, we are out here by the road, so if you're coming in, you're going to come in most likely this driveway here, and you're going to see these benches here. These are our perennial benches. So when we're telling you the benches that are along the driveway, between the driveway and the greenhouse, outside the greenhouse, any of those directions, these are some of the ones that we are talking about. I'm going to show you there are more, so these are just a few of them. But we're going to start out here. This is our ice plant. We do have at least, no, there are 3, okay. I was going to say at least 2 colors, but there are 3 colors of ice plant that we have this year. There's this solid, like a fuchsia pink, and then an orange with a light center, and then this is kind of a cool color that's here. It's supposed to be Fire Wonder is what it's called, so I guess it's supposed to be kind of a red, but it's a very pinky red. It's really pretty though. It's got some really nice striations in there if you look closely. That it makes an excellent ground cover. It spreads 20 to 24 inches-ish, you know, give or take. It depends on what you got going on. Plants, everything is, relative. It does really well in sandy soils. It's related to Mexican rose or portulaca, or I'm trying to think of other names for it. But we have that in the annual varieties. This is ice plant. It's very similar to those. You can see it's got a succulent light leaf, and then there's very pretty kind of frilly looking flowers, but it stays very low like that. It's a very short one. Here we have, well, we're going to start back here. This is our Russian sage. Russian sage is a really nice one. It's another one that is heat tolerant. It's also deer resistant. It attracts hummingbirds. It's real low maintenance. It's fairly drought tolerant, honestly. It's not in bloom right now. Of course, there's one of the things with perennials that you want to make sure that you look for. I really hope you guys are getting this. We can put this wind out here. When you're looking at perennials, you want to look at when things bloom, because perennials are not annuals. Okay, so they're not the same. Most of them, the vast majority of them, are not going to bloom all summer for you. They're going to bloom mostly once for about 6 weeks, and then that's it. So when you're planning out your perennial beds, you want to take a look at when things are going to bloom, if they are repeat bloomers, and then you're planning things. So say hi to the people coming in. Okay, we got Shasta daisies back here. A lot of people have been looking for Shastas in recent years, so that's a good one. We do have those. You can see there's quite a few of them here. I'm sure there are more in other places. That's that pretty white daisy flower. Our perennials this year are all the 1 gallon perennials are $8.50, in case anybody was wondering. This is a garden phlox. So if you've been looking for phlox, there are actually 3 different types of phlox that you could be looking for up here. So we do carry an phlox, which is very pretty and will flower for you all summer and into the fall. It stays nice and low. There is creeping phlox, which a lot of people have been looking for as an alternative ground cover that does bloom. Yes, it does bloom, but it only blooms in the early spring. Like I said, you got those bloom times. It's only going to bloom in the early spring. Most of it's pretty much done, and then it's going to be green and fairly scrubby looking for the rest of the year. So something to keep in mind if you're looking at creeping phlox. This is not creeping phlox. This is called garden phlox or tall phlox. And so that gets fairly tall. Let's see. It gets supposedly about 24 inches tall, so about 2 feet tall. And it does get still those clusters of flowers on it. You can see the pictures here. We have pink and white. It is very nice. It does take full sun. Most of our perennials do take full sun, but we do have some that take shade and some that take half and half. So if you let us know what it is that you are working with light requirements wise, then we can help you find something that will suit your area. This is one of our native perennials. Woo, exciting. I know. I did try to label them this year. I doubt that I got all of them, but I tried. I did. So this is Coreopsis. We actually have a couple of colors of Coreopsis, I think. I'm not sure why they're not together, but this is the creme brulee Coreopsis, also called tick seed. It's the same thing. It gets, not terribly tall. It's more bushy. It gets, only about a foot and a half in height, and it spreads more than it grows up. Yeah, where it's that's why this is like a Lakeside Unedited. I do not have time to edit this after all this. Okay, we also have the yellow yarrow. Okay, so if you're looking for yarrow, keep in mind that there are quite a few colors out there now. This is the yellow yarrow. It's called Coronation Gold. Really great for dry, sandy areas. I mean, I have some in my yard. It is just full and beautiful every year. It is so tough, and it blooms like crazy and brings the pollinators in. I mean, they just love it, and it gets gorgeous blooms on it. There's more of the shastas back here. This is another flowering ground cover called verbena. It's the Homestead Purple Verbena. So that's another one that will spread pretty easily for you. And you can see part of this is just where the wind is blowing these pieces up here today. But it does stay fairly low. If you're familiar with verbena, then you know what you're looking for here. Yeah, here, that one, that's not blown up quite so much, so it shows you a little bit better what the height on that is. So that's the Homestead Verbena. It spreads 2 to 3 feet, I believe. So it gets a pretty good coverage on there. And when you're planning for ground covers, you want to plan for the areas to overlap slightly. You don't want them to overlap too much, or you'll overcrowd your plants. But you want to overlap a little bit if you want a solid blanket. If you don't, and you're just looking for more of a thinner look or a patchier look, that's fine. Hey, no judgment. You can always fill in those spots with anything else, even with annuals. Just keep those sizes in mind when you're looking to plan. We had, wow, guys, I had some of the short bee-balm, but oh my gosh, I think we're down to just these 3 little pots. Oops, baby grumbles. I think we're down to just these 3 little pots of the dwarf bee-balm in pink. So that's fairly upsetting for me, because I was really planning on putting a few of the purple ones in my garden this year. Oh well, I guess I'll have to try again and wait for a new batch to come in. But this is another bee balm or monarda if you're looking for those. This is a short one though. This is not your classic red bee balm. This is a shorter one. This is like a dwarf bee balm. This one only gets up to a foot in height. Okay, but they're so cute, and they get like really nice shade to them, nice and dense, and they get covered in flowers. They bring in all sorts of pollinators. They look absolutely gorgeous. They have this you can make a really nice little hedge out of them, basically. And if you deadhead them, you can potentially even get them to bloom a second time for you, which is exciting. For those of us who care about that sort of thing with our perennials. This down here is your classic red bee balm, the Jacob Klein. And again, the wind is bending her over a little bit today. But this is your red bee balm that's going to give you a nice height. You can see it's already just about to the height that it's going to be for the rest of the year. And then it will start blooming. And it does the same thing. It just blooms like crazy. And if you deadhead it, then it can potentially bloom again. Potentially. Or at least bloom longer than it would have. This back here in the back is Delphinium. You can see those are blooming now. Look at those gorgeous blues. I love that. I love having, I love, these are gorgeous. They've got this, it's a blue mix. So there's all sorts of shades of blue in the flowers. That said, I know I've tried them in my yard, and unfortunately there's too much wind that comes across there and just snaps those stems right off. So if you are in a windy area, just keep that in mind. If you have a sheltered spot for it, it'll be great. Or you can always put a stake in or something to sort of help prop it up a little bit just to give it, make it a little bit more stable. This down here at the bottom, another one of my favorites. This is Goblin Blanket Flower. Goblin's the variety, but it's called Blanket Flower. And you can see it's getting ready to bloom. I don't have the best picture on it. So you can start to see some of those colors in there, and it is just gorgeous, and it is so tough. Again, doesn't mind sandy soil, doesn't mind drying out a little bit in between. I mean, it's not, it does need some water. It's not a succulent, but it really does very well in our area. Likes full sun, likes heat, and just blooms like crazy. I mean, you can see all of these. I mean, these are buds. Each one of these are buds, and it's still early. So that's a really good one, and it does have a longer bloom time, I believe. Now behind that, we've got our foxglove. Not sure why there's an annual foxglove tag on there, because it's not the annual, it's the perennial. But this is, of course, our foxglove. You can see, again, that is one that is just coming into bloom. Can you see those flowers? Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. More of our blanket flower here. And then we get into a couple of our sages. So this is this salvia sage, or well, it's a wood sage. So it is, it's got that salvia-like flower that the hummingbirds absolutely love. They don't just want red flowers. Really, the number one thing that they're looking for are these salvia-type blooms or the trumpet-style blooms. Either one. You can see the bees are already into it. So that's the number one. And then if they have a choice between red and other colors within that flower shape, then they often go for the red. But the number one thing, if you want to attract hummingbirds to your yard, is going to be looking for those trumpet-shaped or salvia-shaped flowers. This is the lamb's ear. Is always what I call it. What is it actually called? What's that? Yeah, it is lamb's ear stickies. Ah! Ooh. Oh, that's good. That was potentially embarrassing. Okay. So on lamb's ear, we also have, they do actually bloom. They get a fuzzy little bloom on them. Mostly people just plant them for the foliage though, and it is so soft. It really does feel like a little lamb's ear. This here is dianthus. Now we do of course have the annual dianthus in a couple of different colors and varieties. Actually one of the, at least two or three of the varieties of annual dianthus that we sell is in actuality a perennial here. It just seems to keep coming back, at least for a few years. Mine's up to 4 years now of coming back. So I don't know what that's about, except that, hey, it's Delmarva, so you never really know. But this is definitely a sold as a perennial dianthus here. Dianthus is related to carnations, if that helps you at all, if you can't see exactly what's going on with these flowers. You can see it has that beautiful bluey gray foliage on it against that pink flower. This is another ice plant, so we actually do have a fourth color. This is the yellow ice plant. And then we've got some of the Veronica back here, Veronica candles. You can see they're still pretty small, but they don't get terribly large anyway. They only get about a foot tall. And some of them are already budding up where they're going to bloom, and they get these purple spire type flowers on them. We also have some gazanias. This is the perennial gazania. Now we do sell the annual gazania in a nice mix. There's very few of them in pots. Most of them are in the packs for the annuals. But if you're looking for the perennial type, that's this one here. And then we have a bellflower or campanula. You can see the flowers on that. Love that color. It's got a neat texture to it too. And then of course we've got some false dragon head here. Thought there was something else there too, but I guess not. Maybe it's moved further down. I'll take you down there. We can see. Oh, this is another one of the coreopsis. This is what color? So this is the, oh, just yellow and red. Wow, that was creative. Okay. So the yellow and red coreopsis. I thought I just couldn't remember the name. No, that's actually the name. Yellow and red coreopsis, or tick seed. So it's similar to the other coreopsis I showed you in that it is a yellow, but it has a red ring around the center. And then this is one of our sedums or stone crops. And man, if you want a low maintenance, low water garden in full sun and sandy soil, this is the way to go. Those suckers are tough. There is very little. My dogs still haven't managed to kill mine, and you don't know me, but that is saying something, all right? Let me tell you. Let's see if I can turn this around, okay? Because we're gonna walk. Oh, did it? Can't see. Blind. Okay. Yes. So yeah, that's saying something, that even my dogs haven't managed to kill the sedum. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not looking great, but they're hanging in there, and that is definitely a testament to the sturdiness of that plant. They are related to a succulent. They're very similar. They do bloom. They get kind of a neat little cluster of pink flowers on a taller stem, and they'll have a few of those. They don't bloom for a long time though. Honestly, the biggest interest from them is going to be the foliage, because they do have a neat texture to them. And there are several of those. Well, okay, there's a lot of sedum and stone crops, like generally in the world, but we have a few here as well. So if you're looking for those, we do have them. Let's see, we're down now. Let me turn you back around. Wow, this is a really bad, this light is just on this, the glare on the screen is awful. So now if you continue down the driveway like I just did there, you'll come to a holly tree that likes to drop all its flowers on you. It smells wonderful, but it does drop all its flowers on you. And you'll see this blue shrub sign. So this is where our shrub's going to be, but it's also where the majority right now of our shade perennials are. So that's going to be like your hostas. Now I did have somebody ask me this year for some like really fun, funky colored hostas, like purples and blues and all sorts of things, and we don't have those. This is pretty much what you see here is what we have, largely because that's what we are asked for most often. We also have some astilbe, which is very nice, and for some ferns and euchera that I will show you later on. And then these are our shrubs. Now we do currently, okay, so this is just for you guys who are watching, because not everyone knows this and they're really hard to get a hold of, but we actually have lilacs right now. So if you're looking for lilacs, hurry up in here, because oh my gosh, they go so fast and it seems like it takes forever to get them back in. Okay, all right, don't tell anybody else, just get in here and get yours. No, not actually, please tell other people, so we need customers. But this is another one of our stow crops here. This is Autumn Joy. This is that other euchera that I was talking about. Now you can see this is in the sun here. That's because the euchera can take full shade to part sun. So this gets some shade in the morning in this spot. That's why we're able to put it out here. So that's why the light requirements are very, very important. And it does change throughout the year. So that's something to keep in mind, again, when you're planning your yards and gardens, your beds. Keep in mind that what the amount of light that you're getting now is not necessarily what you're going to get during the hottest part of the season. So I always try and plan for that part of the season as far as light requirements go, rather than for now when I'm planting in the spring, because as hot as our summers get, they will just get fried crispy if I don't. It's another stone crop here. Oh no, that's more the Autumn Joy. Okay. We've got Centaria. The tropical house. We got some of the catmint. It is related to catnip, but it is not the same. It gets much larger. It gets very bushy. It was very popular for a while there because somewhere in Seaford had planted some. I want to say that it was like Chick-fil-A or something had it planted at their new location. I'm not sure exactly. Don't quote me on that. But we had a bunch of people coming in that they'd seen it planted somewhere and just absolutely loved it. So we do actually go through a lot of that because it's a really nice perennial. It's very tough. It gives you a good 30 to 36 inch spread. I mean, it's pest resistant, super low maintenance, nice bushy plant, and then dies back in the winter. Here's a couple more of those sedum stone crops. We got a dragon's blood, which you're going to get some variation on the foliage just because of light levels. Now these get a fair bit of sun here, so there's not as much red as there could be, but you can see there is some red around the edges, and by the pictures it does get a red flower to it. We also have a Class Act stone crop here. This is another one of the sages. This is a different one than the meadow sage. This is a different one than what we had out front. This is the Blue Bayou. Yes, Blue Bayou meadow sage. So it's a little bit different size-wise, slightly different flower. This is a larger flower to it. But by and large, very similar as far as, regarding planting and your layout. Just keep an eye on which one you have if you have certain size requirements for this. All right, we got some more of the daisies. We've got some of our spiderwort. I always call it spiderwort, and then I see the sign says spider lily, and I'm like, really? Oh no, it's spiderwort. So this is that flower. Another one of our sages. That's the blue marble, which I believe is the one's a little bit more compact. It has this big fat flower on it though compared to the other two. It's really nice. You can even do it in containers, which you can't always do with perennials. So it's nice to have that as an option. And again, deer resistant, pest resistant, drought resistant, heat resistant. I mean, salvia is a great option for low maintenance gardens, especially in, again, you know, all the heat that we get around here in the summer, or if you have a lot of full sun areas. This is another Coreopsis. This is the Zagreb. So this is going to be another yellow flower. You can see it's a little bit larger plant. We also have the lavender Munstead. And of course, we have that in the 4-inch as well. It's an English lavender. Okay. Let's see what else we got down here. More of the lavender. Oh, turtlehead. If you're looking for the pink turtlehead plants, those bloom pretty late in the season, I believe. We have some of those here though. That is another native. Oh shit! Native. And what do we got here? Oh, this is our butterfly flower. So there are a couple different things that you might be looking for. There's butterfly weed, butterfly plant, and butterfly flower. Very slight differences. And then there's milkweed. Okay, so just be sure of what it is that you want, because there are slight differences in them. Now this is the orange butterfly flower. It does attract both hummingbirds and butterflies. It is deer resistant. It is native, but it's not milkweed. So if you're looking for milkweed for your butterflies, then you want actual milkweed. You do not these. I mean, these are still going to help your butterflies, but it's not going to help the monarchs. It's not going to attract them. Well, it will, but it's not for them to eat. So that's a good one. And then of course we have Gara is a fantastic perennial around here. Absolutely love that. We also have it in smaller pots in both white and pink. Gara gets nice and bushy when it's full grown. It's again extremely tough. It's another one that the dogs haven't managed to kill, which is super impressive. Yes. Okay. All right, guys. Oh yeah. Hey. All right. Let's do this. Customer service, real life. Hi. That's okay. What can I help you with?
I was looking for the sun patience, just the bedding plant type.
And the purple azaleas, we got one, we stuck it in the ground like 2 weeks ago. It's
last week.
Well, last week.
The smaller one, and now I see you've only got the 2 bigger ones and the little ones. Sorry.
In the purple?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's several of the small ones still up there, but do we only have the purple in the small or in the big ones now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Strike while the iron is hot, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go and double check for you, but I think it's going to be a little while before we get another load of azaleas. I can always ask, we can try and order a purple one in for you.
Oh. And
then we have your sun patients are right in here. This is the only place we had the sun patients. Would you say the bedding plant kind? Did you mean a smaller pot?
Yeah.
I don't think we did the 4-inch pots this year. I think we only did them in the 6-inch. I think we ran out of room for the 4-inch. Yeah, I think we just didn't have the room for the 4s.
So just this row here.
Yeah, this bench. I don't think it's I'm pretty sure it's just this, but it does say something
White.
on it. So.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And
so
the
it's
purples.
white, red, there's purple, and pink. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. And I will go and ask about the purple azaleas for you.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you, because they...
Sure.
$9.99 ones.
Yeah, the little ones. Yeah.
And I planted the
It
one.
went-
I'm like, I need 2 more, but I don't want to get the big ones.
It looks so good where we
Gotcha.
stuck it too.
Yeah.
You know, we have this
Island.
island in our middle of our oak forest.
Sure.
But it went crazy. It likes that spot.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Well, I'll ask about it and get back to you. I'll let you know. Am I turning around? Wow, I really can't see. Ah, there you are. Okay. This is a super unedited episode. Okay, so that was just a couple of our customers. So you got a little look at some of our customer service. My stuttering and stammering customer service, but still, it counts. If you didn't see a perennial that you're looking for here, hit me up, email, messenger, comments, whatever you're comfortable with. Call us, 302-875-2457. and just let us know, hey, I'm looking for this one specific thing. Do you have it? Because there are a few things that are sort of either still across the road, they haven't come out of dormancy yet, or are talking while going up the hill, hang on. Or sort of stuck off to the side. Like I've got a couple daylilies over here, I've got some liriope that I didn't show you, but I wanted to show you a pretty good idea of what it is that we have that we're carrying this year. Whew. Okay. Specifically when you're talking. Alright. So, hey baby, just a minute. Alright, so that's my cue. I need to get out of here. But if there is anything that you are looking for specifically, again, I really hope that you guys were able to hear at least most of what I was saying despite the wind. I mean, I tried to wait it out after yesterday, but the wind didn't die down, and I was afraid I wasn't going to get it done again this week. So I wanted to get this video out to you guys, so you had something for the week, and specifically about Perennials. Oh, I wanted to show you my Heirloom Updates. Okay, baby, you go over there and chaw. Okay. Let me just show you these real quick, just in case anybody is interested, because I see I do still have somebody hanging around here. I appreciate that, I really do. So here's a couple of these that are out in the alley. These are my peas. So these are the sugar magnolia peas. You can see they're doing great. They can go in the ground right now. I mean, they are just loving this weather. And then I also have these blue butterfly pea flower. So if you are looking to plant for teas, this is that little flower that turns your tea blue. This is a really cool herb, really, for making teas out of, and a really pretty little flower. And it's kind of a delicate little plant on it, honestly. So there's not many of those, but they are coming along. Inside, we've still got our nasturtiums, as you can see. And further back here, we've still got some of the tomatoes. We've got your black cherry, Cherokee purple, gold medal, ground cherry, which is also called a strawberry tomato. We got some arugula for you. In the seed chamber, I've got the toothache plant and a red romaine going. And then further down here, I've just seeded this morning a black bolota hybrid squash, strawberry spinach, which I'm very excited about. That's actually a perennial relative to spinach, so I'm really hoping that comes up, because it looks really neat. I'm excited about that. You can even, it gets these little berries on it that are supposed to be edible as well, so that should be interesting. There's the Amish pie squash and a painted lady improved runner bean. That's one that you can also use as an edible or an ornamental, or both, in that it gets that double colored flower there that you can see is the red and white flower. So either way. Alright guys, well, I gotta get going. I mean, you heard my cue was a few minutes ago and I ignored it already, so who knows what it's gotten into now. But if you guys have any questions, if you're looking for anything specific, please hit me up. Let me know. Come and visit us. We're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 5, and right now, only through June, Sundays 12 to 4. So if you have anything that you wanted to get up with us about, you know how to hit us up. It's comments, messages, email. We're on just about every social media platform I can think of. You can always give us a call, 875-2457, or, like I said, the best thing would be to drop in. So in the meantime, guys, I will see you next time, and get out and get planting.